What's up, guys? It's Ninja Honda Ninja. Um, basically, I have a video for you today, as you can see in front of you. It's called Riot's Biggest Nightmare Since 2010. League of Legends Unleashed, right? Well, first and foremost, um, bam. Okay. Simple but effective, right? So I've watched six or is that eight, 6 minutes and 20 seconds of this video, and I stopped. I don't know what's beyond this point. I was doing other stuff as I was listening to him talk, so I have not been watching the video. It may have been a scene of this whole time. I don't know. I don't care. But the point is, he is talking as if his experience is actually the experience of everyone that played it. And the problem is, I know what it's like to be bronze, but I also know what it's like to be a grandmaster, and I have the same mentality of both. Hang loose, by the way. But because I played League of Legends, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, Super Smash Bros., PlayStation All Stars, like a lot of these games, right? And I've been really good. I've competed in these games, and I'd probably be the best League StarCraft player ever if the internet was better back in the day, right? But and if I was more on the scene, but yeah. Anyways, I really don't care too much. I was really good. I would think I could have been the best, but I just didn't care. I just like I was alpha. That's what you gotta understand. Like it's not that I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to show that I care or that to basically what you need to understand is they took control of the narrative and now it's a Hollywood narrative. And I never cared to be that puppet. Basically, I never wanted to be a sellout. I never wanted to be that snake. I never took the bait. Girls, threw themselves at me. I resisted. They wanted to, I'm taking the pregnancy pill or the anti-pregnancy pill. Oh, by the way, I didn't take it. Oh, I hope you didn't. If you did, you're dad. And like, oh god, saying stuff like that. And it's like that's why we didn't do anything. But anyways, again, I could have, but I didn't want to. I was like, fuck that shit. And the same thing with Smash Bros. Anyways, the point is, I could have been there. And the issue I had with this video is he's talking as if everyone was bronze or silver, basically. And he needs to stop with the narrative or maybe drop the ego a little bit. I don't know what the situation here is, but he isn't doing the game justice by comparing himself to the system and the troubles he had in the game and then comparing it to the system because the things he's talking and complaining about I didn't have a problem with. I didn't have that issue because I wasn't stupid like him. Like I'm guessing he may be around 30 top, and he's at least around 20, maybe 30, but he's probably younger. Um, a younger guy in relative. But the point is, like he's talking about 2010, and he's acting like that standard of 2010 was the same standard of 2025. But the thing is, it's different. Like you weren't aware of the hardship of 2010 back in the day. Back in the day, you just kind of played. It was just whatever. You know what I mean? It was just part of the system, whatever. Like, you swam because you just swam. I talked about this before with somebody else. Um, I was talking about I think it was Final Fantasy VII, and he kept on saying like, "Oh, this is just a dungeon. Relative is just a dungeon, or this is the overmap of the dungeon." And it's like you have to understand when you're a gamer, it wasn't a dungeon. This was Midgar. You understand? Like it wasn't just a dungeon. It was Midgar, right? and then the overworld, right? But it had a name, like Nibbleham. Like it wasn't just Dungeon A, Dungeon B. We didn't have that like thinking that thinking basically. I'm trying to think of a word for it, but like we were a very first person dog-ish, and this is the difference between humans and animals, by the way, is eventually we grow up out of that kind of egotistical self-mind and we start thinking in third person. Eventually we start thinking like, okay, how would I do this? And the problem is people will do that change, but they'll focus on themselves the whole time, right? And it's all about how can I make myself rich, but they have the third perspective. That's kind of the Trumpist, the amalgam, whatever, blah blah, that whole bullshit. But anyways, the point is we didn't have that mindset, right? So everything he's crying and bitching about, like no one had that, right? And there was no, I mean, for the very top, like if you really wanted to compete, then you'd pay, basically, because then it mattered. Then you had these problems, basically. Like I'm talking at the very pinnacle. Basically, like, if you wanted to be I want to be the very best, like no one ever was, right? If you want that, sure, basically, but you don't record. It's not necessary. Is my point, right? And you need to stop conflating. And this is the problem with the world: is you don't have that clarity. You don't have that jack of all trades necessary to talk about everything because you're not looking at it from the perspective of everything. You're looking at it from this versus everything else, or this versus everything else. There's no middleman. There's no third eye on your third eye. You know what I'm saying? There's no one watch. Who watches the watchers? I don't know. That may be too far, too advanced, too thought provoking, or too abstract for a lot of people. But um, anyways, the point is you're not a good leader. This is what it comes down to. Basically, you're not empathetic. You don't have you know what I'm saying. Like you're fake, pretty much. So I don't know what this entails, but uh, my point is, back in the day when we played champions, like right now, for example, um, I can play AD. I can switch it to top. I can change to mid. I can do all this shit. But what's it called? Back in the day, you kind of there's a way you were, and that was it. That's what the game was back then. There was no, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't normal to be mid. Oh, I'm gonna play mid, and I'm gonna play AD, and oh now I want to play tanky top, or now I want to play assassin top. There's no variety. It was just mid was this, top was this, bot was this, support was this, jungle was this. That's it, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. And you're complaining all the variety, the variety. There was no variety back then. We weren't thinking that way back then, right? And so you can't say that because that wasn't a thing. You see what I'm saying? Again, I don't know if you get it or not, but you watch the video if you want. I told you who it was, the name. There it is again. Right? It's all there for you. I don't care. Personally, I don't care. Take what you want and go. Right? I tell everybody like if I inspire you to think a certain way, or if I say like I don't care. Like Dyrus stole my video about Rengar and made it popular, and then Rengar got nerfed. I don't care. But what he should have done is at least pointed to me so that people knew that was my mind that thought of it. Right? I created it. Right? You can show it if you want, but where did it come from? That right there, that's what cancer is. Darius said that day was cancer. Everyone trusted him to be something, and he wasn't. And that's why America sucks, because everyone is fake it till you make it. Just pretend to be. And that's what Trump is, that's what everybody is. Everyone thinks they knows, everyone thinks they know, everyone thinks they understand. Everyone has their hand in the cookie jar, blah blah blah. Everyone's trying to take something for something else, then I realize they're being utilized. This is why I say Trojan horse and whatnot. And that's why I have a list of names and people and blah blah blah, because I know, I understand, I'm aware. I would do both hands, but this hand's fucked up. Anyways, it hurts. Ooh, okay, okay, all right. I gotta stretch it out, by the way, because fuck, like even stretching on there is. Okay, moving forward. Okay, so I have no idea what is to come, but it's just I decided to make this video because it was annoying me because he kept pulling this perspective up, but you can't do that where there wasn't that perspective back then. We were limited, but as limited as we were, we see that as freedom because we didn't know there was more to it, right? And this is kind of what what's it called? Um, I forgot the enlightenment is, right? And this is why they say the dark ages versus the light ages, because the dark ages, everyone thought the world was a certain way and sucked them, and that's kind of what we're starting to enter in right now through manga. And they're trying to bestow dark ages, and that's what George Carlin was talking about when he said everyone is smart enough to do the job, but stupid enough to think they're stuck where they are, basically. That's what's going on, right? It's worse now than it's ever been. Now it's actually impacting people. Now it's actually affecting people. People are losing businesses. People are losing their homes. People are losing land because of this bullshit, right? Be aware of it. This is why Bernie Sanders can't fill a chat room, but he can fill a stadium. You know what I'm saying? Because they fucking control the system, and everyone is like, this is why the meta and the whole thing. No, that's so bad, dude. Because the second someone bad is in control, you're fucked. You need that freedom of thought and freedom of expression. You need that red and blue. Imagine if everyone was red, we would be fucked right now. Manga would be all over the world right now if we all thought red was the way. But because there was blue head kids in the world, manga stopped, right? They're like, oh, God's the way, or the army's the way, and then they hit the red side, like, or the blue side rather, and the blue's like, fuck you, bitch, and my feelings like, nah, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of this shit. And drama hit, fights, and war, and all this competition and fighting, and next thing you know, manga has pulled back a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're getting desperate, more desperate, because people are starting to wake up. Like manga, the red people are starting to wake up. Well, maybe it was a trick. Maybe it was a lie, and they're realizing Trump like lied to me. They're waking up, right? You're becoming woke, right? And they're trying to pirate that world to that word rather to make it seem like woke is a bad thing, but all it means is to not be asleep. You literally woke up. That's all it means. And again, people are like, oh, well, it means racism. Oh, it means you know. It means you woke up. People can take it and do what the fuck, whatever, and say whatever. But at the end of the day, it just means you woke up. That's it. That's all it means. You can add stuff if you want. It's like a cup of coffee. There's your cup of coffee. If you want to put caramel in, go for it. But your cup of coffee is your cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? That's what woke is. There it is. Like the N word, right? I normally say it, but for the sake of you fucking idiots, well, I already said nigga with the A, and now I already have a pass. Thank you, by the way, to the folk out there that give you that, which is dumb because, anyways. So, and if I was leading you on, hit that sub button, YouTube, and Twitch. On Twitch, if there's people here, I will continue. If there's not, I will log off and fucking go to a corner and cry because the world sucks. And that's why everyone kills themselves because they realize, oh fuck, the world sucks and it's terrible and blah blah. And they realize, how fuck, I sold my soul and blah blah. Anyways,
gave you was kind of invisible. Bigger boosts and could
oops,
mix different stat
shit.
types. So if you were playing AD carry, you might run
Uh,
rune pages added some strategy. X for better mana sustain and for every last point. The on the right top, ability inspiration, or of it. 94 growing game. Was messy. Page eventually and started
Man, I accidentally pushed the
made that's all cool.
button. I
Meanwhile,
should
game slash match utility tree deep, but also exhausting. The real problem, even though rune pages added some strategy, they were still super expensive, and most of the power they gave you was kind of invisible.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You'd get stronger stats, but nothing flashy or fun, just small boosts that you didn't really notice. And
To you, to me, I noticed there's a big difference for me, but you're a dumbass, you don't know. So
plus, they were gone. This made things weird. In pro play, runes added a big extra layer of planning, but for most regular players, they just copied whatever build some pros were using and hoped it worked. You weren't really making smart choices, you were just following what someone else did. So by the time 20 making smart choices,
the fact that that server turned around is fucking stupid.
you were just
That is so bad. That Jace, you can, oh god.
following what someone else did. So by the time 2016 rolled around, Riot knew the system needed a full overhaul. It wasn't just about balance anymore, it was about accessibility, fairness,
and again, this is them conforming to the lower, basically. They want more money, basically, and the way they get more money is they give more accessibility. It takes away from the top, but it gives to the bottom, and this is what America should do, by the way. And to say capitalism, blah blah blah. If like no, that they, if it was to legitimately justify capitalism, they would you would reset the wealth, because you'd make more money, right? At the end of the day, you would make more money, but because people are fake and because they're fake and they're synthetic, like personally for me, you could start me over as many times as you want on League of Legends. I'm still gonna climb back to the top because I'm damn good. But for someone who found a book, a challenger pay like a account, right? And you're pretending to be challenger and you're not, and they say we're gonna restart it. You're like, no, 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 because you want to keep that challenger's title, even though you didn't deserve it, right? That's why they don't want the restart. That's why they don't want to fucking, you know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. That's the problem, right? That's the situation. And again, in video games, you shouldn't see it, but because they're greedy and want more money, they do it, right? And again, in America, you would do it too. If it were truly that way, you would. But because you won't, that's proof that you're fucking evil and corrupt, basically. You have something you don't deserve, and that's why you don't want to give it up because you know you couldn't get it back. Whereas me, like Michael Jordan back in his prime, it doesn't matter how many times you change the teams or you do whatever the fuck you want, he's still gonna be Michael Jordan at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're real, you can start over all you want. It's more work, more trouble, more hassle. But if the system needs a restart, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're evil, you're corrupt.
fun. The Rune and Mastery era brought strategy to pre-game builds, but
No,
the real
to
revolution
no to so what it did is it made it to where instead of the top 1% getting it, now the top 20% get it, and now the top 50% get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's more. Like, everyone gets it now. Everyone understands. But again, now you have to play a specific way. There's a specific way to do a certain thing or blah blah blah. And that's why the people like the Bouse and why he's complaining. Why does Riot not play for fun? Like, they're anti-fun. And he makes videos about bullshit because he wants to pop off and act like he's a shit, but he ain't. He's garbage. He's one of those people that say, "I don't want to restart because then I have to prove myself. I can't prove myself as Kaga." He's one of those people, right? And that's kind of what the situation is. And that's why I chose this video to talk about, is to make that clear and point that out. If you were good, you wouldn't care, but if you're shit, you do. You know what I'm saying? If you're shit and you got something you don't deserve, you do. You know what I'm saying? Because now, oh fuck, there's a reset. No, I'm not challenger anymore. No. Whereas me, I'm like, well, I guess I gotta get challenger again or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And now it's so fucking sad because there's people like 5 accounts in challenger. It's so easy to fucking hit the top level now. Like they made it so easy, and still people can't fucking do it. But the point is, they made it so easy. People who are actually good at it can do it easily. So, anyways,
Was still to come.
unless you are me again, by the way, unless you're Bernie Sanders, where they will set you up in a game that is impossibly hard, like you're iron against challenger players, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Unless that is your everyday, which again, I myself, I know it's just me, right? So I don't say every game, every game, every game. No, because it's just me. Other people don't know about this. In fact, other people get the opposite. Like they fall up, right? But they fall up because they're stupid and they're sellouts and they make somebody else some money. Your existence is to benefit someone else. Whereas me, my existence does not benefit someone else. So therefore, they shut me down. In fact, because I stand to reset the system and to expose the darkness that is, they want me to not succeed. It's their goal to make me not do well. Because, like Bernie Sanders, I can't let the truth know because I'd be fucked. And again, I have a lot of empathy thanks to my mother, right? My mother, I have a lot of empathy thanks to my mother, and have a lot of physical, what's it called? Emotional intelligence, essentially, from my father. Basically, so my mom was a bookworm, and my dad was an IRL worm, if real worm, or physical worm, or whatever. And so, like, I know both. I know both.
And in 2017, Riot decided to blow it all up. They scrapped the entire rune and mastery system. No more rune pages filled with flat AD or AP, no more mastery trees or juggling 30 points. Instead, they gave us something new: runes reforged. And this wasn't a minor update, it was a full reset. Runes
Right.
Reforged merged runes and masteries into a single unified system that was completely free, available to every player at level 1, and most
Mm-hmm.
importantly, actually impactful and fun to use.
Even you, a bronze player, were able to understand it. Good job. Again, as a challenger player myself, duh. Everything I understood patch 1, I got it. I get it. Cool. Alright. But you suck. You don't know. You don't understand. You're talking like you know and you don't, and this is a problem with the world. False alphas. And this is again why they shut me down.
The
Anyways.
idea was simple. Instead of stacking invisible stats, players would now make meaningful choices that could change how a champion played from the very first second of the match. Riot introduced 5 keystone trees.
Now an idiot can play the game.
Precision, focused on sustained damage. Domination, burst and assassination. Sorcery, poke and utility. Resolve, tanking and sustain. And Inspiration, weird utility and experimental options. Each tree had a keystone rune, a powerful effect that shaped your entire playstyle. Suddenly, you could run Kleptomancy and farm gold as Ezreal, Glacial Augment for utility slows, or press the attack for heavy DPS. These weren't just passive stats, they were actual abilities with visual feedback and in-game consequences.
Right.
It made the pre-game phase
Again, those are always there. It's just you're too stupid to see them.
more engaging than ever before. Pro players adapted quickly. Runes Reforged gave them more room to innovate, and we saw some crazy strategies emerge. Inspiration junglers, tank Veigar, even smite top laners who abused free sustain runes. Meanwhile, casual players finally had access to tools they couldn't afford before.
Exactly, by the way. Meathead, dumbass, spoiled kid, gold spoon, acts like he knows, has no fucking clue. It's perfect. As far as casuals, that was the perfect choice. Good job.
No more needing 50k IP just to match enemy stats. But not everyone was happy. Some missed the tiny optimizations of the old system, the feeling that you could gain a small edge through smart rune builds. Others felt the new runes lacked depth, and the balance issues, they never really stopped. Still, Runes Reforged marked a major shift in how Riot approached pre-game customization. It was about choice, accessibility, and player expression. And for better or worse, it became the foundation of every meta that followed. After Runes Reforged hit live servers in Pre-Season 8, one thing became very clear: not all runes were created equal. The goal was variety and flexibility, but in reality a few keystones rose to the top, and they started shaping the entire meta.
Oh.
Some of them were so strong that they even forced Riot into emergency patches. Let's talk about a few of the most infamous ones. Kleptomancy.
Wait.
Let's talk about a few of
Whoa. Oh.
the most infamous ones.
Yeah. Kleptomancy was obvious fuck.
Kleptomancy. Meant to reward creative trading and lane poke, Klepto turned Ezreal, Gangplank, and even bruisers like Illaoi into walking gold mines. You'd proc Klepto once or twice every few
Or Udyr.
seconds and watch your inventory fill with gold bags, potions, and random trinkets.
Yep.
Riot eventually removed it entirely because it was nearly impossible to balance. It was either broken or useless.
No, it was OP.
Summon
It was
Airy
OP.
and Scorch. If you were playing Poke in Season 8 or 9, you had to run these.
Yep.
It turned champions like Lux, Sona, and Zera into heavy lane bullies, applying constant chip damage and leaving no room for your enemies to sustain. Unsealed Spellbook. In pro play, this rune created crazy flexibility, swapping to
In pro play. Right.
cleanse, then heal, then exhaust mid-fight was powerful, but maybe too powerful. Entire champion picks were built around having multiple summoner spells in a single match. It's still around today, but far less dominant than it was during its peak. Conqueror. At one point, this rune gave true damage and massive sustain, turning melee champs into 1v9 hyper carries.
Yep.
Riven, Yasuo, Irelia, Jax, it didn't matter who you picked, if they scaled with Conqueror, they were terrifying. Riot reworked it multiple times just to keep it from overtaking the game. The funny thing
Why is it?
is, Riot wanted to get away from mandatory rune setups, but ironically, these new keystones became even more mandatory than flat AD reds ever were.
Why?
You'd often see 90+% pick rates for certain keystones on meta champions. Even worse, if your champion didn't work well with any of the strong keystones, they just fell out of the meta. Some champions became completely unviable, not because of their own kit, but because they didn't synergize with the current dominant rune setup.
That's
So while Runes Reforged gave us more visible power and better mechanics, it also made League's balancing act way harder.
Yeah.
Riot had gradually nerfed or removed invisible power runes, like free sustain or bonus stats, favoring more clear, impactful choices. But some players still argue the system feels solved. You often see the same rune setups in every game, especially in pro play. And while Riot hasn't teased a complete rune overhaul, they've said in devblogs that they plan to keep adjusting the system rather than replace it. In short, the rune system today is much more player-friendly.
First off, they don't have the creative minds to create a new system from nothing. They can't. And this is basic. This is as basic and fundamental as it can get, basically. Like, they made it so fucking easy and accessible that everyone can play. And what we saw was you gave them tools to, like, okay, you suck, you can't AD, so here's some AD. Problem was, someone who could AD took it and fucking blew up the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff suddenly became a thing. Because you try to give Basically, you were trying to make it to everyone can play the game and everyone can climb. But again, that's how life works. You can't make everyone happy. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. That's just life, baby. That's what I'm saying. In every restart, what's it called? People at the top who actually are good are like whatever, but people who are at the top who don't deserve it are like no, 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 I don't want to. And that's why America sucks today because we have a bunch of people who don't deserve it. But yeah, anyways.
Customizable and balanced than the old IP grind days, but like everything in League, it's still evolving. And chances are, your favorite rune today might not be around next season.
Right. And again, that's life, bitch. Life will find a way. Life evolves. Um, life will find a way. You can't make everyone happy. America sucks because a lot of people are in power that just shouldn't have it. Um, People have control over the system that shouldn't have control over the system. That's why America sucks, right? That's why the world sucks. That's why the game sucks. That's why everything. Anyways, be well, be happy, be safe. I'm out. Peace.